Hi, everyone. Welcome to the summit. I'm Alfreda Lanois, and I'm here today with Eli Hans and Joseph Bennett. Let me tell you a little bit about Eli and Joseph. Combine mindfulness, theater, creativity to inspire thousands worldwide. Their workshops and retreats help people ignite passion, gain clarity, build lasting relationships, and live the lives to the fullest potential. They're dedicated to positive change. They work with passion, commitment, and fun, blissfully married and working together. Dig that, working together and married for almost 24 years. They help individuals create the lives that they love. I am so excited about welcoming you guys here today. So, hello, Eli, and hello, Joseph. It is just such an honor to be with you.
Oh, likewise, Frida. Thank you so much for being here and spending time together.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. To get started today, we always want to start off with just this one question. What is love to you?
That is a huge question. Thank you for that. I would say that love, it's kind of like trying to describe air, right? Like air is all around us. It is something that each and every sentient being needs or has access to. But how the heck do you describe air, right? I guess what I would say top of mind is that love is the greatest gift from the universe, and it is all available to us if we decide to tap into the gift of it.
I love that you said that about love being like air, because it's so intangible. You know, I think of love as the highest frequency experience we can have on this planet. It's expansive. It's our natural state.
Yeah.
It's limitless. And what I love about your description of it being like air, I imagine like little love particles flying all around us. All we need to do is inhale it, and it goes into every cell of our being that needs healing, needs expansion, needs compassion. And I was thinking about it this morning, you know, that the place where love resides, it's like a little savings account in our heart. All these little particles end up living there. Whenever we need it, it's just right there for the taking.
Wow.
So it's
love is inside.
An endless experience that we can all pull from at any minute.
Wow, I absolutely love that description. Air. Wow, that means it's plentiful. It never runs dry.
It's limitless.
Yes, I love that. Okay, listen, tell us a little bit about the start to your relationship. Share your story and how you feel like that you were destined to be together.
Thank you. Our story began actually in a crowd of 100,000 people. It was Pride Festival in San Diego. And that year, for the very first time, they were having a mass commitment ceremony. So there were many couples there that loved each other. They knew each other. They went there intentionally to commit to each other, to have this public celebration of their love.
Yeah.
And I went there to witness that because I thought that's a really beautiful thing. It's happening across the street from my house in San Diego. And I went just to see what was happening. And then
I had heard of it too. And I thought, wow, that's wonderful to have all these gay couples actually committing to one another. So I had planned to go that morning as well. I had been single for 5 years. And that morning I changed my mind. I decided I needed to stay home and do some housework. You know, I needed to do laundry. But this voice came out of nowhere that said, hurry up, go, go, go. You got to go. And I said, no, I don't want to go. I said, no, you got to go. So I thought, okay, fine. So I got on my bike and I went. And 30 seconds after I arrived, this mass commitment ceremony began. And the minister said to the people who were there, the couples who were there, please turn to your partner and repeat these vows after me. So out of the blue,
I tapped this guy standing next to me, a complete stranger, and I'm very eloquent. You will learn that quickly. And I said, hey, you want to do this? That was how I proposed marriage to this stranger.
And I said yes, which was unlike me at the time, because at the time I didn't do anything without reading Consumer Reports. But I said yes to this guy. And then the minister started saying, repeat these vows after me. So we were shyly mumbling the vows until he got to the last vow. And what was it?
That was when he said, I promise to support you to your highest potential. And that resonated with me so much in that moment. And it still does in many ways. We'll get to that later. I said to Eli, make sure you say that one out loud and mean it. Because I thought that's a gorgeous vow.
And when he said that and we were repeating that to each other, at that moment, I knew why the voice had been screaming in my ear to hurry up. I was going to be late to my own wedding.
Wow.
So here we are saying, I promise to support you to your highest potential. And at the very end, he says, I now pronounce you committed life partners. You may kiss each other. So we gave each other a big, little kiss on the lips, I guess. And I said, now that we're married, what's your name? That was it.
That was 24 years ago.
24
so
years.
We truly consider it to be a prearranged marriage, because obviously she, up there in the heaven, had something to do with bringing us together in that crowd of 100,000 people, standing almost this close to each other, because it was a crowded field. And
it's been the most loving, respectful, kind, forgiving relationship for both of us. And it's just flown by, almost 24 years this July.
That is so unbelievable. That is a miracle. That what I feel when I hear that story is that, because I truly believe that you must always trust what you feel, right? Your intuition, your insight, and that little voice. So something was telling you, you have to be there. You would have missed your husband.
Can you believe it? I mean, all of this had happened with the universe orchestrating this moment, and I was going to miss it because I had to do laundry.
Yeah.
But that's a beautiful point. Trusting that intuition. Eli actually wrote a musical where he plays 25 characters called Out of the Blue. And it's all about trusting that intuition, those voices, those moments that come out of the blue that can completely change our life. And trusting those moments, it's life-changing.
It is, yes. I look at it as our inner GPS, that it tells us, what direction. And if we have the courage, because you got to be courageous sometimes to be able to listen to that voice within. But I know that it will never guide you wrong. And even if it doesn't turn out the way you think it should turn out, it is still for your highest good. That is a phenomenal, beautiful story right there. Before finding each other, what were some of your challenges that you had in your own love lives?
How much time have you got there, Frida?
How do I say this without sounding too political? Growing up as a gay child in a straight world is challenging. When everything you see out in the world, every Disney movie you see is about the prince and the princess and all those main Romeo and Juliet, all
every
the
song
stories
on the radio, every play.
So you
every
kind of
novel.
grow up feeling, without understanding yet why, there's something that's not fitting. There's something that's off. There must be something wrong with me. So we tend to internalize that, which later in life shows up in different ways. So in a way, that has been a challenge to heal. Mm-hmm. But when we talk about really challenging situations, before I met Joseph, 5 years before I met Joseph, I had met the person that I thought was the love of my life. And circumstances became very tragic when he was diagnosed with cancer and he really couldn't deal with what was going on. So he took his own life. Okay. And so that was an instant moment where my life was just shattered. And it took several years to kind of heal from all that, a lot of forgiveness work and all that. And being open to the possibility that love could possibly even exist again. That was a big thing. And yet the way that we met and how we were led to one another was so miraculous. But it came after doing a lot of healing, from all of that. And what I really want to get across to anyone listening or watching is that it is absolutely possible to find love again, even through or despite some of the challenges, the hurts, the disappointments, the losses that we've had in our lives.
Absolutely. Wow.
By the grace of God, I have not had anything that tragic. But an interesting bit of trivia in my life is that I was also with a partner who I thought was the love of my life.
Okay.
And out of the blue, he dumped me. I did not see it coming at all. But what's most miraculous about that is he dumped me July 23rd, 1999. The day that we stood at Pride and married each other, it was July 23rd, 2000.
Wow.
So there was something in the stars. I got chills right now just talking about
Me too.
something in the stars that my former partner just released me, because what I believe, two things, is that there was a more powerful partnership on its way, and that Eli and I had a sacred contract to be with each other. So we are here fulfilling that sacred contract.
Yeah. I love that.
Thank you to Unnamed Man for releasing me on that day.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Wow. So I can see now why you said when something's meant to be, it's meant to be. So this relationship was just meant to be. That is so powerful.
Yes, and we need to be open to it happening, right? We need to move through life with an open heart when we want to create a loving, transformative alliance like this. A partner, I really think of our partnership as an alliance. It can only happen with both of us being fully wide open.
Mm-hmm. And can I say that we get to decide each and every day whether we want to be open or whether we want to be closed. And there's a heck of a lot of reasons to stay closed, right? There's a lot of reasons in our past to stay closed. There's a lot of reasons in the newspaper to stay closed. And I almost said challenge, but I'm going to keep this kind. I invite the viewers today to choose to be open to love.
I love that.
Love is such a healing energy that, you know, I mean, I had to do a lot of healing of my past. And the only way to do it is through love, through forgiveness, which is love in action. But it is possible. And if this is something that people want to experience in their life, because we're not saying that you must have this to be happy. There's, you know, millions of people who are happy and fulfilled on living on their own or however they move through the world. For us, because we know what this is, we just find it to be the most empowering,
transformative,
life-giving
option.
Choice.
Yeah. Because it's free will. You know, we all have free will. And when I hear you say you have to be open, you have to have the desire, because nothing is forced upon us, right? So you really, really must have that desire to be open, to go beyond your pain, beyond your disappointments, to be open to receive. I love that.
That's beautiful. Yes.
Oh, what do you consider the secret to creating an empowering and loving partnership? What is the secret? Especially, in the gay world, that can be very challenging. And these 24 years, or I think you said earlier that each year represents 7 years, right?
Yeah, years are like 7 straight years when it comes to love, right?
Yeah.
I would say if there were a few secrets that I would pinpoint is absolutely humor. Okay. We have got to have the ability to laugh at ourselves and to laugh at this world. Because sometimes, I don't know about you, Frida, but some of us, we think that love is serious business, right? We have got to get down to business, and we have got to communicate, and we have got to share, and we have got to be each other's perfect person. I want to bring some levity to this thing called love. So that is absolutely one of our secrets. And then, can you speak to gratitude?
Yeah, we have a gratitude practice that we've had for years and years. You know, every night when we're going to sleep, we tell each other 7 things we're grateful for that happened that day. And gratitude is right up there with love as far as, the frequency.
Yes.
And so the last thing we do before we go to sleep is share things that we're grateful for. To be able to go back through the day and remember things we're grateful for, wonderful things that happen.
And Frida, you will be part of our gratitude practice this evening for sure. So thank you for all that you're bringing to this day, my dear.
I will be honored to be there.
And lastly, I think that we really took that vow. If you remember the story of how we met, when that minister, that I don't even know who he was, but this man truly created the path for us. Mm-hmm. And when he said, I promise to support you to your highest potential, that truly is the number one key that has driven our relationship forward with so much patience and compassion and respect, because we maintain our individuality.
Yes.
We truly support each other to our highest potential. You know, even if it's not exactly something I would love to do, if I feel that it's the right thing for Joseph, then go for it, you know?
Yeah.
I have one more secret.
Okay.
You do? I do. Yeah. That is, how do I explain this well? Sometimes we tend to make each other wrong in relationships, right? Like, you didn't do that right. You voted for the wrong person. You didn't pick up your socks, whatever it is. And I try in this relationship to show up to my highest, wholest person and not make the other person wrong. That is not my job. What he does and how he lives his life is none of my business. And I have seen over and over again in the relationships that we have counseled or coached is this propensity, this habit of making each other wrong. And I just invite the viewer to let that stuff go today.
You know,
Please.
In regards to that, it makes me think of, you know, when you have a wonderful best friend, think of your best friend and your relationship with that best friend, right? It's easy, it flows, it's relatively effortless. You support each other. So a loving partnership is identical to having a best friendship, except for it has some extra benefits, you know. So
I love that.
there's intimacy, there's closeness, you get to spend more time together, but it's like being in love with your best friend.
Do you pick on your best friend? You know, get in there and say, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Oh, that wasn't fair. Oh, you should have called me 5 minutes ago. No, we tend to be pretty forgiving and pretty allowing and in flow of that friendship.
Yeah, because I think one of the most difficult things in relationships is how we put our expectations on each other. Wow, that is so powerful. So can you guys give us an example of some of the gratitude or that you do with each other at night? What you know, how do you kind of
They're so
it could be anything.
Okay.
I'm grateful for that beautiful meal that you cooked for us.
Okay.
I'm so grateful for talking to my mom and that she's still on the planet, and I get to have a conversation with her at night and see her, you know.
I'm grateful that I spent time in the art studio making art today.
Wow, I love that. That is a powerful way to end the night.
It's Bing Crosby. For those of us old enough to remember Bing Crosby, Count Your Blessings Instead of Sheep was one of his songs, right?
Yes. For those who are desiring a romantic relationship but feeling hesitant due to the past hurt, what advice would you give them about opening up the possibility to love again?
First, I would say there's nothing wrong with where you are on your path, right? It's not like, oh, you need this in order to be whole, or you need this in order to be perfect. So honor and bless where you are right now. There's nothing wrong with it. And if there is something that you are desiring, something more, a fulfilling partnership, then it starts here. It just starts here, honey. It starts with our forgiveness. It starts with our self-love. It starts with the stories that we've been telling ourselves over and over and over again for years. And if those stories are helping you, keep going. Not a problem. But if those stories are keeping us down or constricted or sad, then we get to change the story.
Yeah.
So that's so beautiful. What would you say?
I would say that if somebody's desirous of a loving partnership, to begin to just embody love every day. You know, it's like we tend to think of love as residing in another person, or I want more friends, or I want a partner. Like the love is like over there, but love isn't over there. Love is everywhere, and it's right here. So if we begin by embodying love, by just being love, by opening our hearts every day and connecting, smiling, giving a compliment to someone, you know, just starting to what I call riding the wave, riding the current of love. You know, the other day I kind of had an image I want to share with you. Love is like a current. We took a vacation to Cozumel once, which is kind of a little island off of Cancun over there. And there's a current that's very gentle that goes around the island. And when we were snorkeling, all you do is literally just float, and the current moves you forward, and then they pick you up somewhere else. So I kind of think of love that way. The current at the bottom of a river, let's say, is like where all the muck is, right? It's like low vibration stuff, and catfish feed off of that. And in regards to humanity, it causes things like depression and anxiety and addictions. And we're living at that, you know, kind of muck kind of energy level. But if all we do is allow ourselves to float up through opening our heart, we eventually are taken by this current of love. And in this current of love, things open up more effortlessly. We are guided to where we need to be. Picture a little leaf floating on a stream. It's effortless. The leaf is screaming at a rock to move out of the way. It just moves through it. So love is this thing that's effortless. And when we're living our life through love with an open heart, then at that same vibration, we start discovering other people who are there on the same current. And that's when you find your partner, you know, and that's where you find beautiful connections with friendships.
Yeah.
And your life expands. That current, I believe, is what helps us get aligned with our highest calling. Like, why are we here on this planet? Is to experience deep love and allowing love to take us where we need to be.
I love that. There's a couple of things that you both are saying. I love that. I often say we are more than our stories, right? We all have a story, and we can stay stuck in our story if we choose to, but we are more. And also, I love the idea that we attract where we are. So if I'm at the bottom, then that's what I'm going to attract, right?
Yes,
but
right.
if I'm floating, like you said, like a feather or like a leaf, you know, then I will attract on that level. That's so beautiful. Can you share one practical tool or exercise that our viewers can use to enhance this openness? You know, what do they need to do to?
Super simple.
Okay.
Super simple tool. It is 2 words, and it goes in alignment. Thank you for the segue of talking about story. That we get to say, until now, at the end of any self-limiting or self-deprecating story that we've been walking around with, such as, nobody loves me.
Yes.
Until now. I'm not lovable. Until now. There are no available women or men. Until now.
What's beautiful about until now is that it doesn't judge the past. It just completely at that moment shifts to possibility, right? So we love the practice of until now. And we actually encourage anyone out there listening to get an until now buddy, someone that is close to you, that when they hear you say anything that's self-deprecating or self-limiting, that they have permission to say until now, just a little reminder.
It also sends a gorgeous, powerful message to the universe that whatever you were carrying around before, it can stop in this moment, and there's an entirely different story available to us, right? I have always screwed up relationships.
Until now.
Until now.
Wow.
Those 2 words,
God.
truly,
Listen.
Rita, those 2 words have transformed our life.
Yeah.
And they are not unique to us. This is probably not something that we've come up with. I'm sure it has come down the channel through the sages, but it is something that we use every day with our coaching clients.
Oh my goodness.
And with each other. We still sometimes can get caught up in something self-limiting.
Yes.
So we remind each other until now, and you go, yeah, that's right. We are a choice of making that shift.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that just takes you out of your
Yes.
story of oppression, depression, whatever. Oh my goodness,
Victimhood, all of it.
because a lot of times we live in victimhood. We dress it up, right? We have designer clothes, we have designer furniture, but we are deep down in victimhood until now.
Yes. Powerful.
So powerful. Listen, that was worth the whole entire conversation. If I could walk away
The
with
price of admission.
exactly until now. How has love served as a vehicle to bring you both in alignment with your highest call?
Oh, wow.
And what is your highest call?
I know mine.
Okay.
If I can go first. So, my highest calling is to first heal every cell in my body so I can then go forward and do God's work. So, it starts with healing at a cellular level and then going forward and being of service. And what my service looks like, I believe, and this hasn't changed for the last 10 years, but I'm open to it changing, is helping people achieve freedom. Freedom from toxic thoughts, freedom from addiction, freedom from, getting in their own way. I have been practicing hypnotherapy for a number of years, so I help people with belief systems. And I believe that when we're free of what is holding us back, that baggage that we've been carrying around for a long time, then we can show up and really do important, beautiful, life-affirming work. So that's my purpose here. And being in a loving partnership just supports that, right? In innumerable ways. What would you say?
That's beautiful. Well, interesting. You asked the question, what is your calling? I remember that when I was in my 30s, I was really going through this angst about, why am I here? Why am I on this planet? What is my purpose? All that. And then I had what I call my Oprah moment, because when I was really deeply asking that question, I felt this light come through. And then I heard a voice, and I, for some reason, kind of saw the Black woman in the sky, which is why I say she kind of looked like Oprah. And she said to me, your purpose in life is to fully express who you came here to be.
Wow.
And it just sat there, and I thought, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I can do that. And then she said, no. You didn't hear what I said. I said, fully express who you came here to be, not to live a small life, to fully express your love, to fully express your talents, to fully express your gifts. And then I said, oh, that kind of fully. So it's changed my life, my Oprah moment, because that really is, I think, our calling, is to fully express who we came here to be. And since we're talking about love, when we ride on that current of love that we were talking about, it leads us to all these opportunities to fully express who we came here to be. Doors open, connections are made.
Conversations happen.
We're guided to things like this Love Summit, where we're here to learn and open our minds and open our hearts to more. So, I would say that is what my calling is: fully express fully who I am, and to make a difference in the world that matters.
It takes so much to be able to not only discover your calling, be open to your calling, but to accept the challenge of this calling. Am I correct?
And the courage that it takes to show up to it.
It does take courage. Sometimes when we hit a wall, sometimes I tell Joseph, it's so much easier to dream the dream than to actually be living the dream. Because when you're living the dream, there's all kinds of things that you didn't think of.
The technical problems, and the people don't show up for appointments, whatever it is. But the fantasy of living the dream, that's freaking gorgeous, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but you know what? When you are committed to your passion and you're committed to that higher calling, because there's nothing else you could possibly be doing on this earth, those challenges that you meet become so much easier to break through because there's no other reason to be here. So you just have to figure out how to get through them so that you can do what you came here to do.
And so how then does love serve that?
It sounds a little woo-woo.
Okay.
What I know to be true is that when we are operating at a vibration
Uh-huh.
that is of love and that is of gratitude, then most of our problems become like level 1 problems.
Okay.
And so when we are operating at a level 9 or a level 10 in our personality and in our expression of who we came here to be, the other things in comparison, they're not so severe. They're not a monstrosity that we have to get through, right? So the challenge, the invitation is that we work on ourselves and we heal ourselves to our best ability, and then everything else is minuscule in comparison to how we show up to this world. Because here's the thing, if I can throw a statistic in here,
Yes.
of all the people that have ever lived in the entire universe forever, 93% of them have died. We are part of the 7% that are still lucky enough to be here, right? Everybody else has already passed, and we are here in this moment. So what do we want to do? And as part of this summit, what I invite you to do is just love like you've never loved before. Right? If you look at healing the world and what can I do politically, what can I do about the wars, what can I do about famine, what can I do about overdoses that are happening in Baltimore, 6,000 overdoses in the last 6 years. Love, just choose that over and over and over again. Just love.
You asked about how love can be part of that process of following our calling, and love is the ride. I mean, love is healing. Love is what opens doors and what helps us be able to get through disappointments and challenges. You know, it's just such a powerful force. And the thing is, it's natural. It's our natural highest state of being on this planet. So it's not like we have to find it or go dig for it somewhere very far. It's like right here.
Or shop for it on Amazon.
The
right?
little particles are right here. All we need to do is breathe it in, right? And let it guide us. Because I think our plan is already like our life plan's already in our heart. We just need to go there and just open it up and let it guide us.
Wow. Powerful. Ooh, now, as we're coming to a close today, and I don't want to close because this conversation is so deep and yummy and interesting. What would you do to tell our audience to give them the experience or to be able to express more love in their lives right now?
How can they express more love in their lives right now?
Yeah.
Make the decision.
What? Say it again.
Make the decision that you are going to be the most loving person you know. That's it. You are the most loving person that you know. Forget all the stories, forget all the reasons for closing down, forget all the things that are happening in the news, forget what your neighbor's doing and who they're voting for. You now today are the most loving person that you know. Just hold on to that as if it were the most important decision you've ever made. Jim Quick says the most important thing is to keep the most important thing the most important thing. And for you being here today on this Love Summit, I believe that there's a part of you that believes that love is the most important thing. So keep that the most important thing.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful. Ooh, Eli?
Well, I agree with that. And I think that the only way to really experience love is to embody love, is to be open. If we've been hurt and we're living in a constricted state, we're missing out on so much that we could be experiencing. So take the risk and just open up and start loving you. Look in the mirror and say, I love you. I love you. And start loving, just having an experience of love, being of service. Go volunteer someplace with a children's orphanage, go volunteer with dogs at the pound, or anything that just opens up your heart. And then when you start feeling all of that flowing in, we slowly start releasing. And love is the answer.
I have one more thing. So remember when we were growing up and our parents would tell us, watch your language? Well, that lesson now is different, but it's still really significant because the language, the words that we use, the complaints. If we were to show up to the dog pound, but we're complaining about how it's run or how the dogs are kept or how there's no funding or how there's nobody coming to adopt the dogs, then we're just bringing our crap with us to that. So we get to choose our language, really intentional in the words that we use.
Well, and further with that, I think choosing our language is being aware of words we might be using like can't,
hate, should,
right? So all of those words that are limiting, if we just become aware of that until now, how we've been using them, replacing should with could, can't with can, have to, get to, we can start changing the language that we use that is more in alignment with opening up to a loving experience.
Wow, so the power of language. And also because a lot of times we have that chatter in our head, right? That we don't even recognize that we're saying such negative things to ourselves constantly.
Well, and the thing about the chatter is that we believe that the chatter is us.
Yes.
But the chatter isn't us. We're the ones doing the listening to the chatter. So Joseph and I often talk about the journey of going from our mind down to our heart is only like about 18 inches, right? So dropping into our heart and just realizing that what we're hearing isn't the truth resides right here. And
I read a book that says we have 92,000 thoughts a day.
And how many of those are productive and helpful?
Exactly.
Right? Probably very few.
Exactly.
Until now.
Until now.
Yes.
This has been fantastic. This has been amazing. So where can people find you until now? Where can
people find us?
Yeah.
Well, people can find us at eliandjoseph.com. It's very easy. That's where we share a lot of what we do in the world.
Yes, and actually the very next thing that we are doing is a live 5-week group coaching program called Mastering Your Mindset of Healthy, Loving Relationships. It's designed specifically for those of us who want to dive deeper into this beautiful experience called love and what that might look like in our life now and what that might look like in our life in the future.
Yes, we're going to explore how to love ourselves, friends, and family. We're going to teach you a process that I actually created to manifest this incredible relationship within 30 days. And also how to extend our love out into the community.
Bring that forth into the world.
Okay. I love that. This has been amazing. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you, Frida. It was wonderful.
For your insight and your expertise. I love it. Oh, I'm going to take that with me until now. Okay, that's my new motto. Thank you so very much. It's been amazing.
Thank you. It was a privilege to be with you, and all of you listening or watching. Thank you so much for spending this time together.
So one last practice for the viewers is to take their right hand or their left hand and cross it over to the opposite shoulder.
Okay.
Close your eyes, breathe, pat yourself on the back for showing up to this summit today. Keep your eyes closed, take another breath, and pat yourself on the back like you really mean it. Like this is the beginning of something new and powerful for you and for the world.